before you get all official.
What's going on, man? Like a big shot, huh? Hey, I got a parking ticket. Karen?
Yes, Mayor, anytime you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the regular meeting of Mayor and Council of the Borough of Glassboro for September 13th, 2022 to order. Karen, could you please read the opening statement?
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, I hereby announce that adequate notice of this meeting, as required by said act, has been provided by adopting a schedule of regular meetings for the year 2022, which schedule was posted on the Borough Hall Bulletin Board as well as the Borough website and forwarded to both the South Jersey Times and the Sentinel of Gloucester County, filed with the Borough Clerk on January 7th, 2022.
Thank you. Can we all rise and salute the flag, please? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Karen, roll call, please.
Mayor Wallace?
Here.
Mr. Kosovo?
Present.
Mr. D'Alessandro?
Here.
Mr. Fiola?
Here.
Mr. Halter?
Yes.
Ms. Miller? Here. Mrs. Spence? Here. Mr. Melandro?
Here.
Mr. Scafidi?
Here.
Mr. Brunemer?
Here.
Okay, and at this time, I'll turn the meeting over to our Borough Solicitor.
Thank you, Mayor. Before our ceremonial portions, we have official action to take on the various following resolutions. I'll read them out loud. Resolution 210-22, appointing Charles Williams as Lieutenant for the Glassboro Police Department. Resolution 211, appointing Andrew Roberts as Corporal for the Glassboro Police Department. Resolution 212-22, appointing Haley Mangoni as Detective Corporal for the Glassboro Police Department. Resolution 213, appointing Sarah Scapalato as Corporal for the Glassboro Police Department. And Resolution 214, appointing Nicholas Brown as Patrol Officer for the Glassboro Police Department, if council so moves for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 210 through 214.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Karen, roll call, please.
Mr. Kosovo?
Yes.
Mr. D'Alessandro?
Four.
Mr. Fiola?
Four.
Mr. Halter?
Yes.
Ms. Miller? Mrs. Spence?
Yes.
Motion carries. At this time, we'll begin the ceremonial portion of this meeting. Okay, please, with that, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Charles Williams,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New
and
Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
to the governments established
in the United States and in this state,
in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
the office of
the office of
Lieutenant for the Borough of Glassboro,
Lieutenant for the Borough of Glassboro,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, get on up there, it's photo time.
We'll get out of the way.
Yeah.
They don't want with council.
You wanna act like family?
Stay with us.
I am balance it out. I'll balance it out.
Haley?
And then Mike. Mike.
He's got his hand.
Microphone.
How are you, sir? I'll try to get through this as quickly as I can. Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Haley Mangione,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and in this state,
in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
the office of
the office of
Detective Corporal for the Borough of Glassboro,
Detective Corporal for the Borough of Glassboro,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Do you want your picture taken? You're a detective someday. Congratulations. Very proud of you.
Congratulations.
That's nice. I know.
Did you get it? Thanks.
Good. Andrew? You're up, sir. How are you? Somebody here? Somebody? Wonderful.
See how they're on a scale already?
Good to see you. Exciting day, huh? Okay. Yeah, come on. Place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Andrew Roberts,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and in this state,
in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
the office of
the office of
Corporal for the Borough of Glassboro
Corporal for the Borough of Glassboro
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You're welcome. We're very lucky to have you.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you. Ma'am, thank you. Sir, thank you very much.
Very nice. Sarah, how are you? Look at this crew. How are you, gentlemen? I'm well. Okay, you got it. All right. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Sarah Scapalato,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and in this state,
in the United States and this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
the office of
the office of
Corporal for the Borough of Glassboro,
Corporal for the Borough of Glassboro,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Little ones, you want a picture? Paul?
Yeah, get in there.
Get up there, Pete.
Get in
Come on,
there.
Dad, come on.
You're too old, you can, huh?
Yeah. There we go.
No, mini me.
Very good. You're welcome. And last but certainly not least, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Hello, young lady. I'm wonderful, thank you. All right, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nicholas Brown,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and in this state,
in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
the office of
the office of
Patrol Officer for the Glassboro Police Department
Patrol Officer for the Glassboro Police Department
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God. Ma'am, thank you.
Congratulations. You know, I was wondering if you all were going to come up there. Congratulations to you all. Thank you very much for everything you do. Okay. All right, that does conclude the ceremonial portion of this meeting. All of you are more than welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting. However, if you do choose to go enjoy the weather and your families, we won't be too offended. Yeah. Okay, at this time, I am going to again turn the meeting over to our Borough Solicitor.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a scheduled public hearing this evening on ordinance number 2218. That is an ordinance authorizing removal of deed restriction placed upon property known as Block 204, 13, 14, 15, and 16, also known as 802, 804 Texas Ave, on the tax map of the Borough of Glassboro, Council of St. Louis, for public works.
Move the public portion be open.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The floor is now open to anyone from the public who wishes to step forward and address this proposed ordinance. That's correct. Gotcha.
Well, seeing none, I move the public portion be closed and the ordinance adopted as written.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Karen, roll call, please.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. D'Alessandro?
Four.
Mr. Fiola?
Four.
Mr. Halter?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Spence?
Yes.
Motion carries. At this time, I'll entertain,
No minutes.
no minutes. I stand corrected. We have no communications. And so I will move to committee reports and begin with our council president, Kosovo.
Oh, yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to congratulate all the officers that were sworn in tonight. I wish them the best of luck and stay safe. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Councilman D'Alessandro.
Yes, I'm in receipt of the August monthly report for the tonnage of trash removal. Just like to make that a note. That's all I
Okay.
have.
Thank you very much, sir. Councilman Fiola.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm in receipt from our CFO, Karen Passione, and her assistant, Alexis Barton, of the various financial reports that they submitted for the month of August 2022. These various reports just advise us of the status of the Glassboro budget as well as the water and sewer budget. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, sir. Councilman Halter.
Hey, good evening. Thank you,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Mayor. In receipt of the monthly report from Chip Clark, from Water and Sewer Superintendent. Status quo at this time, water and sewer is it's still difficult to obtain a lot of our materials right now, so we're still in backlog for that. Swarthmore Road project was finished paving, the water main on Swarthmore Road, and paving is ready to be initiated, in the coming days here. Everything else is moving along in the place.
Thank you very much, sir. Councilwoman Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to make everyone aware our mini soccer program has started. Recreation football, or midget football, has had their first game this past Saturday. We've already started registration for basketball, and our seniors are on their way to New Orleans, November the 6th through the 10th. Actually, they are very vibrant and active. They have more seniors attending our center than ever before, because everyone knows Glassboro has one of the finest senior centers and activity programs. But that's all that I have at this time.
Thank you very much. Good stuff. Councilwoman Spence.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to state that I was in receipt of the August construction report, and it's all in order and looks good. And also I want to congratulate the newly appointed officers of Glassboro Police. Hope they, again, echoing Mr. Costa's statements, they stay safe. And I just also wanted to mention that at the West Jersey Depot this month, we're having a Donald St. John Memorial Motorcycle Show on Saturday the 24th from 1 to 4. If anybody's interested or knows anyone who would like to just bring their bike or antique custom or street motorcycles just for display, there's no charge. Just come out and have a good time. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Moving forward, we have no unfinished business. Karen, can we go through new business, please?
Yes, Mayor. At this time, I'm requesting approval for New Jersey State Firemen's Association membership application for John G. Robinson V.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And I am also requesting approval to purchase fire apparatus through HGAC Cooperative.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, Karen. At this time, I ask for our engineers report, please, Mark.
You wanna come down? Before I jump into the engineering report, just wanna give us a summary of what we did this year for the 32nd annual golf tournament. We held it this year at Valley Brook, which is something a little bit different than all the years past, where it's been quite a while. For that, so looking for feedback as to next year. We haven't had too much negative. We haven't finalized where we're going to do that, but here again, it's the 32nd annual, and we continue to go forth on that to continue for the kids and raise money for their programs. Had 102 golfers with it on that day. We had 9 gold sponsors, 15 silver sponsors, and 26 gold sponsors, which really helps me out with the cash flow as far as raising the money for those items. A special thanks goes to Eastern Pro Pack out on Ellis Street. They sponsored the money for the dinner. The firm of Malley Givens sponsored the carts. Special thank you for Matt Blatt, who's been with us, I think, all 30 years, for donating a car for the hole in one. For anyone successful, hasn't been so far, but we're still trying. For those designer wraps up on Carpenter Street, they did a lot of the signs for us, donated their time for us on those. And I'd be remiss if and that's why I asked for Hector and Elena. They did the bulk of the work, and Patty from my office, I just kind of showed up for those things, but they did a heck of a job this year. For that, they really hit the streets, got a lot of participation from the local businesses and things along those lines. And as a result, for that, we raised $17,935. So this is
No.
okay. Not sure who we're supposed to face here. So.
Okay.
This is probably our best year. I think, Hector, if I'm not mistaken, this is the best year for fundraising. For that, we've made it through COVID, and we actually had pretty good participation for that. Kind of regretful that Hector stepped down and moving on to other adventures, but Elena's well versed in everything there, so she'll be able to pick it up and just keep it running like, I don't say that Hector never left, but she's been trained very thoroughly, so she'll do a great job for us on that. So just want to say thanks for everybody that turned out to the tournament, for all the people, all the players, and put the money towards the kids to help those programs. So appreciate it. Thank you. So and thank you, Anna, for help putting us together and pushing us together. And just real briefly, for the construction aspects in town, we finally got a release from the county for the Hidden Creek, Camelot townhouses. They had done a pretty thorough review for the traffic report out there to make sure there's no changes needed. So all's in place. So the phase 2 part, which is next to Richwood Crossings, you'll start seeing some of that activity in a few weeks. They're doing one aspect in the phase 3 of the existing townhouses, then they're going to get in there and get those roads based and electric running. So they start getting street lights. So hopefully in the next several months we'll see homes be going in there on that aspect. For those down the street on Ellis Road, they had the Lincoln Boulevard project. Finally got all their materials in. They're getting the final storm water taken care of. They've got some work they're doing along the county, get that cleaned up, and they'll be paving those roads in the next couple of weeks with those aspects and starting to get topsoil. They are trying to get done by the end of October for some of their units, so I imagine they'll be reaching out to the borough once they get a better timeline. They've also faced many challenges as Mr. Halter to lead with materials, having labor contractors show up when they're supposed to get all that work done. So they've been simultaneously building 14 units, trying to get all that work done, taken care of there. So we're finalizing the work over on Charles III. Had some grading issues there. I appreciate the patience of the residents out there for some of the irrigation system the contractor hit and didn't stop when he hit them. So we've worked out those things. We're making some adjustments with the DOT for one last intersection, so we're seeing if they are amenable to do that, and then we'll finish that out. And we did get the bids in for Charles III Phase 2. Those results will be given you for the next council meeting, and it is all within the DOT grant for those. So amongst everything else that's going on in town, though, that's the latest for the construction piece. So,
Mark, has there been any more information with regards to the possibility of the bus shelter over off of?
Yes, actually, I received some information from the county. They were kind enough to send me some plans. Had my staff working on that today, as far as trying to look at site triangles. We'll be touching base with the county engineer because obviously the safety of the traffic out there is the utmost, and site triangles with the buses might be an issue.
Outstanding.
So we'll taking a look, and we also did look into the bus shelter at Whitney Crescent.
Yes.
And things along those lines. So we're up at New Jersey Transit trying to get where that is, because it may impact some private property, so
Yep.
it may fall on Whitney Crescent. If they want to relocate that, it might be more feasible.
Very good. Thank you very much. Any other questions for Mark?
Mayor, if I could say, please.
You may.
I just want to thank Mark, Patty, Hector, Elena, and Councilwoman Miller for all their hard work in making this tournament another success. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Very well put. Thank you again, Mark. Okay, at this time I will again turn the meeting over to our Borough Solicitor.
Thank you, Mayor. On our resolution consent agenda this evening, we have the following resolutions: 203, authorizing agreement for professional services, the Borough of Glassboro with Shropshire Associates LLC. Resolution 215, resolution authorizing, am I missing a page? 215? Yep, that's it. 215, resolution authorizing refund of tax payment overpayments. And resolution 216, amending resolution 22721, resolution authorizing contract for the purchase of two 2021 Ford F-350 four-wheel drive extended cabs trucks through the state of New Jersey, contract number 888758 for the Borough of Glassboro. They are the three resolutions on our consent agenda this evening for approval. If council so moves, roll call vote.
Motion for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Karen, roll call please.
Mr. Cossabo.
Yes.
Mr. D'Alessandro.
Four.
Mr. Fiola.
Four.
Mr. Halter.
Yes.
Ms. Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Spence.
Yes.
Motion carries. At this time I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting up to the public.
Move the public portion be open.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The floor is now open to anyone from the public who wishes to step forward and address mayor and council.
And just for the record, if you do approach, would you please identify yourself for the record, name and address, and note that there is a 5-minute limitation per person. Thank you.
Hello,
Good evening.
my name is Julie Wisniewski. I live at 313 Franklin Road, Glassboro, New Jersey. I would like to just take a moment, I'd like to thank the police and for all that they're doing and for the ones that just got promoted, and that I pray that they are all staying safe. The reason I'm here today is because of the incident over the weekend with the college. And my main concern is that there is no communication being done to the rest of the residents. I found out, I live 2 streets away from where this all happened, and I found out through Facebook about this. And I have a father who is 93 years old, who still lives in this town. He does not use technology. I'm aware that some Rowan students got emails and got text messages, and it seems very haphazard, our communication. And we are a town, we are more than just Rowan. You have residents living here, and we need to protect all of us. And I really feel the fact that those gunshots were done, that should have been a shelter in place, and that call should have been out immediately to everyone. Not only do I worry for my father, but people have different work schedules. My husband goes into work at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, he probably should not have been out at that point. So my question to you is, what can we do about that? I'm thinking that something could probably easily be done. I did contact the police, and I'm hoping that we can kind of get like they do when there's like an Amber Alert or someone missing. When that happens, or there's even severe weather, my phone starts ringing off the hook as a cell phone, my dad's house phone starts ringing, and I really feel, unfortunately, that we have to really approach this. I don't think this is an isolated incident. I think there's going to be more things that happen that the community needs to be aware of. So I just wanna be on the record saying that this is a concern for the public. And that hopefully we can solve something and there's communication done as to what we're gonna do. You know, my father just has his phone, so ideally, I would like to kind of have some kind of feedback, like, okay, this is what we're doing, there's maybe this practice thing that, you know, is call that goes through, just to make sure that we have everybody on before something serious does happen again. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your input. And if I may say, Ms. Wisniewski, thank you for bringing your concerns to us. And with regard to your question about communication, it is my understanding that Rowan University has its own means of distributing. So when, like the blast that you were referring to, Rowan can do that exclusively for the university. The borough in and of itself, we have, you know, our social media sites. There's also a Nixle, I believe, is a site that the county uses, and borough is tied into that, and Everbridge is the other one, which is kind of the same thing. Do we need to look at that and maybe modify that? We certainly will. Your concerns are heard. You brought up the incidents over the weekend. I want to assure you, since we have that subject there, that after the event was under control, the borough immediately went into action as early Sunday morning. And by Tuesday lunchtime, we had met internally with borough administration. We met with Rowan administration, and we have a plan in place moving forward into the next weekend and until we have a formal plan in place to move on into the future. I am comfortable, and the members of the council are comfortable with what we have in place, and I must say that I commend the actions of the borough first of all with the police and fire, and thank you for acknowledging them for what they did and how they managed to keep that issue, or keep anyone from getting severely hurt in these issues or during this incident. And the fact that Rowan and the borough stepped up in concert to see to it that this incident and an incident like this does not happen again. And thank you again for being here. Again, anyone else for council?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Diane Johnson, 210 West High Street. I'm gonna piggyback on what young lady was saying about Rowan. Okay, so, well, as she said, it was a shooting. Also, it was something big going on down on High Street, down by the post office. Somebody got stabbed or whatever. Okay, but my thing is this, that when they drink, I mean, this year is terrible. The rolling that came in this year is, I mean, they off the chain. They break glass in the street. I sat on my porch and I watched them take a beer bottle and just bust it in the street. So I went to one gentleman and I said to him, why did you do that? There's trash cans all around. People drive through here, they get a flat tire. And he, I said, well, suppose your parents or your father or somebody in your family live here and ride down these streets and get a flat tire. This is every weekend, and so they've been back. They drag race. I called the police many times. They told me that they drag race at the corner of Ellis and Nick Drive. They meet each other, car over at Nick Drive and a car over at Ellis Street, and they make the real loud noise, and then they split the tires, and it's terrible. Now I didn't mind too much when my kids wasn't in school, but now my kids are in school. They're doing this 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They're making a real loud noise with their cars. It should be a curfew anyway with all that noise. It should be a noise nuisance with all that noise that time of morning. Okay, that's one thing. Second thing, that I emailed you and Mr. Ed about the lights on Martin Luther King Boulevard. I haven't heard anything from anybody. And,
I'll let you finish first.
that's one thing.
Yeah.
And, another thing is that when you come down Ellis Street and you're making a right on Higgins Drive, the resident right there, it's a big tree right there that needs to be cut. It's gonna be dangerous, it's gonna be an accident. You can't see when you come out, you gotta come all the way out from Higgins Drive to turn on, to make a left on Ellis. You have to come all the way out to see because of that tree. Okay, that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson.
So you emailed me at 10:30 on August 25th. I emailed you back at 10:39.
I didn't get it.
Okay, but
I'm
I
sorry.
do have it.
I'm
I do
sorry.
have it.
I believe you.
I do have it, but I drove it because I needed to know the address. You said to me on MLK Drive, you didn't give me your address, but I was able to figure it out.
For what incident? For my daughter's address?
For your daughter's address.
We talked about that, yeah, I gave you the address.
I wasn't here. You emailed me. You wouldn't talk to me. But anyway, I drove it. It wasn't hard to figure out. It's the two homes on the left.
Yes, by the
Right.
church.
I
right.
drove it during the day and I drove it at night because if you look during the day, there's lights all the way leading up to it, and then it stops on the two houses, and then it picks up again all the way back to the dead end.
There's no lights up there by
I know, and at night, and during the day, you would go, okay, it might shed, it might, shine a little bit. You're right, it doesn't at night. Long story short, it was on the agenda tonight. I gave Mayor and Council an update. I referred it to Atlantic City Electric. They're gonna get back to me and see if they can hang one up on the pole.
Okay,
But I did email you back.
okay, I apologize.
That's all right.
I have no problem apologizing when I'm wrong.
Okay.
I apologize.
Cause I remember I was laying in bed when that came across. Yeah.
I was late, right? But also, I spoke to you about Main Street, about the traffic and how fast they're going. And the officer, he told me to call him, but I lost his number, so I didn't call him. So that's my fault on that. Okay? But, yeah, I just, it's just, the college students and the lights, and that's it.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for
Sure.
getting back to me, and I apologize.
No problem.
And Ms. Johnson, again, thank you for
Yep.
being here. I encourage you all to continue to come. With regards to the students and the traffic and the racing, I again will reiterate and assure you that the borough and Rowan are working again in concert, and we meet regularly. We have regular meetings once a week, and we've been meeting, and the relationship between the university and the borough with regards to the safety and well-being of all residents, and that's students included because they are part of this borough, are paramount. And everyone, I assure you, is, in my opinion, stepping up to the plate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, all. My name is Peggy Crammy. I'm an Elmer resident, but I lived here in town till '83 when I moved out, but my mother is still here. She lives at the corner of Dickinson and Pennsylvania. She's 90 years old, and I'm 10 miles away. I need some sort of reassurance that you're going to reach out, whatever it is that you're planning, that I will be notified. We in Salem County have a website we can go to and we can opt in because of our nuclear plant. We get warnings for everything and anything in Salem County. I think Gloucester County, you have more funds than we do. I would think that you could come up with the same situation that they have down there, to where if residents want to opt into it, they can opt into their town, they can opt into it countywide, any kind of incident. I really hope that I hear you say you feel great about what you're doing with Rowan, but as a daughter of a 90-year-old, we don't feel warm. She was up all night. She was scared to death, and unfortunately, I was out of town. I do have two brothers that live here in town still, but they're a few blocks down from the 100 block, and they were unaware of what was going on. They're down at 300 and 400 block there on the ridge, and somehow some kind of communication needs to get out to the residents of this area. That was a scary situation.
I agree.
I don't know how, George, I don't know what happened across the street. I mean, that was
Well,
closer.
my mother-in-law lives on Pennsylvania, and she's 99,
Yep.
so you know, we're looking into this, believe me.
And
We're-
she has a son that lives with her. My mom's still alone.
Right.
She,
Well, she has a son and daughter, right, but still.
Yeah.
It's gotta be addressed, and we're gonna address it.
All right, she does have problems with the tenants that live next door. We're addressing that with the landlord right now. For some reason, these college students think that they're allowed to use her driveway as a means to come in and out of theirs because their horseshoe was blocked, so they decided to cut on her grass and use her driveway as a horseshoe. But their landlord has 1 week to just figure out what they're gonna do, put a fence up, something, before I take it one step further. But these college kids this year really are rude, out of control, and I really wish I could call their parents and let them know what their kids are doing. But thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you.
And I would just to be clear, I'm happy with the way we're moving forward as a result. I am absolutely beside myself about what happened. I lived until 3 years ago a block up on the corner of Pennsylvania and Franklin, so it hits home to me. And we're doing everything that we possibly can. We will certainly look into, again, I spoke on the Everbridge and the Nixle, which I know are already in place, as well as our websites, but we will collectively look into seeing how we can possibly expand it or get to where we can have something in place that, God forbid, something like this or an incident of magnitude of this, we can get it out to those, to everyone.
That wants to opt in, I hope.
Absolutely.
Me
Well,
being in
most
Salem
definitely.
County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Safety and well-being of the Glassboro resident is paramount. Paramount.
She loves the change. She loves the Rowan Boulevard. She's able to park and get into the back door of her hair salon, the nail salon. I mean, she's one that supports the change that's happened here. I know a lot of the older residents do not, but she certainly loves it.
Well, I would please encourage you and anyone else to keep us informed of anything that's going on. Contact our police department, contact the borough, email, call, come here. We need to hear it, we want to hear it, and we want to make things better.
Yeah, I whine.
That's okay.
I do it all the time.
You can whine if you want.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Mayor, can I just say one quick thing? Gloucester County does have an alert system you can sign up for online. Go on their website and you can pick and choose what kind of alert you want to get, whether it be storm, fires, or whatever kind of emergency.
But do they talk about town emergencies? Like would this incident
Some of the
have been
towns
on
are
there?
tied in, but I'm not sure of what the relationship is between Glassboro and that system, but I know they are.
Yeah, and this is the system that Councilwoman Spence is referring to, see if we can channel it to.
We have Route 40.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a channel from one bridge to the shore. If there is an accident that's going to be tied up for hours on hours, there usually are because of impatient people, we get an alert saying, take another route. So I mean, and you get to pick and choose what areas you want.
Yep, thank you very, very much.
I'm just coming up because I would like some clarification on the Everbridge and the Nixle. I don't know what that is, how that works.
Jewel, if I don't have the particulars right here. If I can get you after the meeting, I'll be happy to if you are able to.
Okay.
And if you can't, I'll get a hold of you tomorrow.
Is that something that you would have to
It's you sign up and opt in, yeah, but it appears that it obviously didn't go out, or it can't go out. If it went out, it didn't, because I signed up. I know I signed up for it as well, and I don't know specifically how it's supposed to go out, but we will get answers.
Okay.
Absolutely, and I'll make sure that you have those answers.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
How's it going?
How are you?
All right. My name's Skip Irick. I was born and raised in Glassboro. Well, I was born in Camden, but my parents had a house here in Glassboro. So I've been around a long time. My next birthday, I'll be 72 years old. So I've lived here all that time. Went away to college and stuff like that. And I live at 221 Dickinson Road. My concern, although I am concerned about what happened last weekend, that's not why I'm here tonight talking. I'm concerned about the overnight parking law that we have, ordinance that we have that's on our books. On my street alone, there's cars always parked all night long, up and down the entire street. I spoke to a few officers about it. I didn't get the kind of answer that I'm looking for, but either I'm okay with taking that law off the books. I know it has to do with emergency vehicles, fire trucks, stuff like that, but it's either gotta be enforced or it's gotta be taken off the books, one or the two. You can't have a law that is never enforced, and I mean never. When my kids were living at my house, they issued an overnight sticker, okay? I had an overnight sticker. Even one time, about 5 years ago, I got a ticket with the sticker on there. And of course, I came down and the court took care of it and all that. That's not the point. The point is, I say, we either gotta enforce it or take it away. And it's a little bit, you know, not as quite as what happened last weekend, not quite as bad as that, but it is something that's a problem. You know, it's a problem. So I throw it out to you. Maybe you guys can talk about that, figure something out. Like I said, I'm okay with taking it off the books, but it's gotta be on or off. It can't be on and then never enforced. It just can't work that way, you know, so that's my say.
Thank you very much. In response, just so you know, I do have information that in the past week alone, there have been 100 summonses issued by our code department for parking issues and 250 warnings since Labor Day. And so we're working, and
I do see, I'm retired, so of course I can see it all the time, all kind of different stuff. And I, you know, like Mr. Kravitz from the TV show, I look at it. I'm always looking at it, you know. But I do see that there's been more daytime enforcement. I do see that. There used to be one little black truck that Ralph, the guy was the fire chief,
yeah,
that he drove around. Now all of a sudden there's like 2 or 3 more, which is great. But that has to do with what side of university you live on and which side you don't. It's completely different than overnight.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, overnight,
I hear you.
it's not happening.
I hear you.
Now, I don't wanna make those guys work overnight, but maybe we could get one of them on a night shift and instead of worrying about the police doing that. I mean, I get it.
Yep.
The police are busy with all this other stuff that's going on. They really don't have a lot of time to worry about a guy parking on the street. Think about it, right? So maybe we get a code enforcement officer. I don't know. Just a thought.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, seeing no what?
There's one more.
No, I'm sorry.
And are you okay with me facing the crowd?
Whatever you need to do,
With all
sir.
due respect. Just wanted to introduce myself.
Yeah, just address yourself for the record. Yeah.
So, I'm Kevin Kett, 2 Snowfield Drive, Glassboro. For those of you who don't, I'm Kevin Kett. I'm the Vice President for Student Life and Dean of Students at Rowan. So I can tell you that I really appreciate your feedback tonight. It's important to me. I do want to compliment the borough, the police. They do an amazing job of working with me and letting me know. I can tell you that I have very high standards for our students. I can also tell you that I will be the first person to come out at 3 o'clock in the morning and address a student who's being disrespectful or who is not living up to our standards. Absolutely, we'll do that. I have 0 problem with that. I'm not an excuse guy. You can contact me anytime. Just look up Kevin Kett, K-O-E-T-T, or Dean of Students at Rowan. That's me. I will happily respond to any concerns that you have about our students.
I want to say that one of the challenges that we're dealing with is, for example, this weekend, those were not our students. There was one student involved in the situation. In fact, one of the houses, it was a student that I threw out of school. So one of the challenges becomes, even though somebody looks like a college student, it doesn't mean they're a college student. Now, please understand, that's not being defensive. Our students need to do better. They need to understand being a part of the community. That's my job. I need to help them understand that being a part of the Rowan community isn't you get to do what I want and say to neighbors, oh, we're college students, right? That doesn't fly with me. So any concerns you have are important for me to hear. But we've got plans. I can promise you that the police work hard. They call me regularly. Ed called me over the weekend. We have great communication. So I have very high expectations for our students. When they're not doing things right, I will hold them accountable. I promise you that. But please understand that I don't have the ability to say to a non-student, I can hold you accountable. And unfortunately, that was some of what happened this weekend. I agree, communication-wise, we've got good communication systems at the university where people can sign up for RAID and they get communications. So we try to do that. But we do have a partnership, like I said, Ed and the mayor and everybody in the borough, John and his team. We meet regularly. We just met this morning to talk about plans of action. We promise that we are taking this very seriously. It's something that I don't take lightly, and I have zero problem if you contact me. In fact, I'd appreciate it if you contact me and say, hey, your students aren't living up to their expectations. You call me. I'm going to help them live up to their expectations. That's my commitment to you.
When do you have homecoming planned?
It is, so September 24th is family weekend. Homecoming, I'm not sure the exact date. It'll be second or third week of October. The family weekend will have a lot of folks coming in. That'll be the first home football game as well. That's September 24th.
Is that the one that you have the fireworks?
Typically, I don't know that we're having them this year, but typically that is the fireworks game, yes. So, but I'm happy to, if there are things that I didn't cover, but please know, you all as a council, you all as individuals have so much respect for you, so much appreciation for you. John, gosh, you and your team are amazing folks that work with us. So we don't sit here lightly and say, oh, we'll just come and listen. We pay attention. We put things into action. And these comments that you're making are very serious to me, and I appreciate them. They mean the world to me. We're going to try to do better, and I can promise you I hold our students accountable to standards that they need to live up to.
And thank you,
all.
Kevin.
And thank you for being here.
Well, how is it looking now? Make a motion, public portion be closed.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve all duly authorized bills.
Move that all duly authorized bills be paid.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Yes, Mayor, let the records reflect that I abstain on PO number 22-03516. Thank you.
Mayor, please let the record reflect on my behalf. I abstain on 22-03456. Thank you.
Very good. Those abstentions have been noted, and motion still carries. Any closing comments for our administrator?
I'd just like to thank everyone for coming out. I really do. And I'd like to thank Kevin. We started on this at 9 o'clock. We know we have our hands full. We have a plan in place for this weekend. We're going to see a lot of police officers, both Glassboro and Rowan out there. And I appreciate you coming out, and we got to get it done. That's all I have.
And I would just like to, first of all, again, commend the police department, the fire department, and all those that were out there trying to keep our residents safe for the fantastic job that they did under the circumstances. I'd like to thank the administration of Glassboro and Rowan for getting things put into place as quickly as we've done. It doesn't surprise me because this is how Glassboro operates, and we showed how we respond yet again, and will continue to respond. I thank everyone for coming out. I encourage you to continue to come out and keep us plugged in, and we want to make sure, like I said earlier in the day, residents of Glassboro, all of the residents of Glassboro, safety and well-being is paramount with us. and we don't rest until we're sure that everybody is safe and secure. And lastly, to just congratulate the golf committee, Hector, Elena, Mark, and Anna, and everyone involved in the golf outing. It was amazing. It's amazing every year. I don't know how you do it, but you make it more amazing with each coming year. Looking forward to the next one. Congratulations and great work. And with that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. This meeting is now adjourned. Again, thanks for coming, everyone. Have a great evening. Next meeting will be September 27th, 2022, 6 p.m.